So can you talk about how you approach the discomfort, whatever the size is?
Yeah, so I'm like a mega introvert, and I have put myself into spaces that are really uncomfortable because I also realize that the world, I don't know if you've read this book Quiet by Susan Cain. It talks about the power of introverts and what introverts bring to the world, but it also talks about the reality of how the world rewards extrovertism. If yours is the loudest one in the room, it means you're the one that gets heard. It doesn't matter what background work you've actually done, and the world often recognizes it as such. At the same time, so I think a lot of introverts, they train themselves to be extroverts because it's just a matter of survival. You know, if you want to get ahead, you have to do that. So I've put myself in spaces where you have no choice but to be an extrovert, and you have to build your public speaking, your front facing self instead of hiding in a corner, making friends with a dog, which is where I would rather be. Why we're able to do this is because obviously it's a one-on-one conversation, and introverts excel in one-on-ones rather than in big groups. Even early on, like I hate sales. I really hate sales. At some point in time in my life, I went into financial planning sales, insurance. It was more driven by my endless want to know. I'm really interested in the details, and every salesman won't be able to give me the details because they're only interested in selling you stuff. So they're only going to tell you all the good stuff, but I want to dig into the final legal print, what is covered, what is not. And because of that, I went into insurance to be able to equip myself with that information. But because of that, obviously sales is a big part. It means that I had to be that person, be a receptive listener, and then like churn back out to be able to tell you, I guess, like be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And then now, being an environmental speaker, being like a content creator, it is still really uncomfortable for me. Especially with the content creation part, because obviously a lot of extroverts gravitate naturally to it because it's just about putting themselves out there and like living their best life and telling people about it, which it just doesn't feel right. And it still doesn't feel right. But I have to be able to create opportunities for myself to do that, or else someone else would learn. So I guess when we put ourselves in uncomfortable situations, it's always with an end goal in mind. And sometimes you have to take the hits to be able to get the wins. If I want to influence more people, it means that I have to expand my comfort level, my comfort zone to all these different areas that I would usually not touch to be able to achieve that end goal.
So a quick follow through, and this could be a short answer too, but do you feel like all the hits, as you said, you've been taking as an introvert, putting yourself out there for the sake of impact, do you think that's been paying off for you?
Yeah, definitely. I guess, whatever you do that is uncomfortable for you, it is still going to carry elements of your version of it. This is an introvert's version of doing this in trying to be an extrovert. So it's going to look different than what an extrovert would do. For example, an extrovert might be shouting out about all these things, but because I like the details, I like the analytics of it. That's the part that I'm going to give you. So you're going to get a different perspective from me than what you would get from someone else. And that person is going to bring a different perspective than what I can bring. And that way we are all adding to the conversation that's going to enhance the way that you learn things, because we're all going to give you a different take on it. And, it's not like one is better than the other. It's just that this is going to build the collective consciousness in different ways. We actually need people who don't give you the details, who are only giving you the marketing, the jazzy words and marketing, because that's what's going to catch people's attention. It's not that is less valuable than the more detailed analysis that I would like to inject into my content. It's that might be a gateway to this, or this might be a gateway to this, or people might use this to attract a greater crowd. And then when you are ready to jump down the rabbit hole, you come and look at me, and I will not even be the most detailed. Then I will funnel you into other platforms that go into even greater detail than what I can bring. So we're all different faces of the same movement, and each of us are creating our own influence into the collective goal.
Yeah, I loved when you said that even if you're doing extrovert things, you look different doing it because you're an introvert. And I think that's what unique means, right? Like every single one has have our unique sets of genetics and our footprint, our unique footprints. So it's literally impossible for Melissa Tan to do something that's exact same as an extrovert version of Melissa Han or something. That's literally impossible. And I think that's really important for people to focus on. So you're not deterred by, oh, am I just copying someone? Am I just being a copycat? Am I just following the trend, as we said earlier? It's like, no, you're being yourself and you're actually doing a more courageous thing in some elements. Because like to me, talking or being on camera comes pretty natural to me, right? But then I'm not as detail oriented as you are. Because I know your Instagram posts are very elaborative. I said that in my introductions. It's not flattery. I don't do flattery. Like I've read a lot of your blog posts and a lot of your social media Instagram posts, and they are very lengthy and very context heavy. And I think that's why you have a great social media presence, because people can tell without knowing fully who Melissa is that, okay, this advocate, this environmental speaker, this whatever, she cares about what she's putting out, because you can tell the extensive effort you put into writing. You're very, very detailed. And I think that that's why it works. That's your unique Melissa introverted print to doing this extroverted thing.
Ah, thank you. And at the same time, I'm going to say it's not going to resonate with everyone, especially in a platform like Instagram, where people just want really bite-sized stuff and like a quick dopamine hit and move on. So there are pros and cons to that.